Welcome to the Feats and Fables 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons streaming game just for adventurers like you. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts by searching for Feats and Fables. If you want to watch us live and chat with us, please join us on Twitch from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday nights. Our entire backlog is available on our YouTube channel for your viewing at your leisure. I'm Paige Lightman, the DM, and I'd like to welcome you to Aglarond, a peaceful pastoral land of half-elves. Our heroes of Aglarond are part of the Foresters, elite scouts and rangers, charged with defending Aglarond's borders, particularly against undead from the evil fascist nation of Thay. Our heroes have recovered a mythal artifact that has dragged them into the Feywild and into a conflict with the Shadowfell. Once they have repaired the tear between the two planes, they're trying to get the mythal back and take it back to Aglarond. Previously, on Feats and Fables, our heroes triumphantly returned to the Eladrin city of Mithrendain to talk to the rulers, Valia and Rowan, who have given them back the mythal and said, please wait a few days before you leave Mithrendain. Let's go see what they're up to. So let's meet our heroes. We have Victor Toussaint. Oh. We have Victor Toussaint, a human eldritch knight fighter played by Ron Frankie.
Eager to get off this rock, back to the prime material.
We have Wildfire, a fire genasi evoker wizard played by Joe Streaky.
So much paperwork ahead of us. So much paperwork.
We have Ross, a lizard folk Drake Warden Ranger Barbarian played by Coda of Codab Games.
Hello, everyone.
And Malagar, a drow twilight cleric played by Dr. Andrew Wong.
I'm actually enjoying this trip to the Feywild. The last time I came here, I imbibed a little bit too much, and I couldn't remember very much of my trip, and this is actually kind of neat when you can remember it.
And we have Belwyn, a dwarven paladin princess played by Ben Heisler.
Wait a minute, you drank too much of this cheap stuff? I mean, this is practically drinking water. It should serve it with a blue ribbon on it.
You have to drink a lot of it. I'm not saying you drink a little bit of it. And the hangover is it's pretty awful.
The what?
Yes.
All right. So there we were. What is going on?
What's going on? Okay.
What's going on?
I definitely sleep for like 24 hours for sure.
Yeah.
That seems only reasonable.
Like
a long rest? What?
Sort of
Wait,
long.
we don't do that here.
I'm gonna have to check with my captain first. Captain.
I suggest that we all sleep for 7-hour stints.
It's true.
Works for me.
Once Wildfire regains his recognizance, I want to talk with him. Wildfire, one of the reasons we got into this trouble is that the acorn is so easily detected by outside forces. Do you think there's anything you could do to make it so we're not attacked by the next group of mystical thugs that senses it?
Are you calling the Eladrin thugs?
Yes.
Little column A, little column B. Huh.
I mean, they took our stuff and extorted us. And they're even supposed to be related. They're family. What would someone that isn't family do to us?
They would have mugged us on the street.
And eat your innards.
Mm-hmm.
They would have mugged us on the street, clearly. Paige, I'm going to roll you an Arcana check. See if I have any ideas about how I could do this thing.
I will
accept
assist.
your 24.
Yes,
I only have a
here comes the
17.
24.
Is that with Ron's assistance?
Ooh, I have an assistant, so this is my other
Paige,
roll.
I clearly
There
attack.
we are.
I clearly attack and kill Wild. Oh no, he got 28. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
You were gonna get that doppelganger, weren't you?
I was going to get that doppelganger.
So close.
Right. So the Mythal is a very powerful object. Hundreds or thousands, low thousands of elves gave up their immortality to make this thing go. That is not magic that can be hidden very well.
So you're saying 4 layers of foil. 4 layers. Gotcha.
However, the nice thing about a Mythal that powerful is that whenever you're within a half mile of it, your detect magic kind of pegs. So it's very hard to get a precise reading on where it is because it is so powerful.
Well, that could be valuable information. Have you tried 5 layers of foil?
Yep, still detect magicking everywhere.
Yep.
Wait a minute. Victor, I thought that the elves were going to transport us back to Aglarond.
Yes. Well, they'll probably have us come out in some, place that used to be a bustling city and now is a decrepit ruin full of, bullywugs or whatever.
Yes, Ross. Somewhere in Aglarond.
They did mention
Somewhere.
a city that had been in the Feywild that effectively moved to Aglarond when the elves came.
But if it turns out that we are teleported somewhere where we can be immediately embraced in the arms of Aglarond, then it'll just be wasted prep.
So, but I think the fact that obviously I share everything with Victor that you told me, and I'll say I think our best bet will be to keep on the move once we reach back into Aglarond, because it'll be hard to pinpoint us. As long as we stay mobile and continue making it towards our goal, I think it should be hard for us to be directly pinpointed. I don't know that it's possible for us to hide the fact that we returned to Aglarond.
All right. We'll have to be ready to go then once we go through the portal.
Yes.
I mean, at that, Ross lets out just a long hiss of a sigh. I suppose that will mean that we will go many nights with restless sleep. We'll have to be prepared for that. Maybe these elves have some sort of tincture or item that can assist with our rests.
Ooh, that's a good idea, Coda. Have a point of inspiration.
One thing, Victor, that we could do before we leave is we could, which I think is a good idea, is to make sure that we know how to install the Mythal, because we're in essence going to want to get somewhere and do it. Correct me if I'm wrong, or if I'm making this up in my brain. Functionally, only people who know where the Mythal was installed can find it. I remember there being something.
Yeah, so it protected itself and somewhat obscured its location because of the place where it had been specifically interred by the elves who created it. So that was a pretty major undertaking to get it to where it was. You will have to find some other significant place to put it, as you are not hundreds or low thousands of elves willing to give up your immortality to put it in a certain place.
Well, the elves made it, though, right? Like, the placing it shouldn't be that level of effort.
No. Placing it is not that level of effort, but in that much level of effort, that's the level of effort they took to both create and place it.
Sure,
so
that's fair.
It was somewhere pretty tight before it got dug out by King Elfond.
Just for the record page, I am completely willing to give up Victor's immortality for this. So.
I appreciate it. It could come to that. So you're very generous, Coda.
I guess metaphorically that'd be dying for Aglarond.
So I would
really the best of both worlds.
So, Victor, I would imagine we should do some research while we're here to make sure that we know how to install the Mythal, and probably plan a place we want to take it to. once we place the mythal, like if only potentially optimally, which seems unlikely, that we know where it is, then there will be very few people who will be able to directly lead anyone to it.
It's true.
Yes, research. Well, best of luck with that, you two. I'm gonna go find out what the others are up to. At the mere mention of books, Ross exits stage left.
Yeah, that is Ross repellent right there.
So,
Ross
Victor, I have a
Collins?
question for you.
Yes.
We have a couple of allies with us that we don't really know that much about. We've traveled with them some, but I couldn't tell you what specifically Malagar's or Belwyn's goals are. We should perhaps consider breaking ties when we get back to the Prime Material.
They've been boon companions in the Feywild, but it's true that we're kind of forced together here. I think part of it might depend on where we land. Like, I think as long as Belwyn thinks we're taking us towards a prince that she can marry, she'll be steadfast. And Malagar, Perrin vouched for him, so I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know. Keeping an eye on him is probably wise. I wonder if we could convince Belwyn that you're a prince.
That seems unlikely.
Probably not.
Maybe you, though.
I mean, I don't know
Maybe
if
Ross. I think Ross actually is a prince.
I think he's the closest
Technically.
thing to the lizard folk have to a prince. All right, so that'll be our ace in the hole if Belwyn starts going sideways. We'll entice her back in with a proud Saurian prince.
You shall be queen of this swamp.
I'm looking forward to this storyline.
Oh yeah.
I look forward to the powerful lizard folk dwarven alliance that is going to crush
Ooh.
Aglarond from both sides.
Like a
That's the
watermelon
real-
between Belwyn's thighs.
Alright, now I'm in.
Wow.
All
Damn.
I'm saying, Victor, is we should harden our heart in case we have to make a difficult decision.
Yes, keep the item of power close, and we might have to make some hard decisions.
Indeed.
So, Coda, where is Ross going?
I mean, I'm going to try and get as far away from research as I can. So I'm going to go looking for Malagar and Belwyn to see if they are doing something more interesting, perhaps with food and drink. I mean, I know especially Belwyn likes food and drinks, so I'll go see if I can't find my betrothed.
So, where are Malagar and Belwyn? Together? Separate? We could have like a 4-way party split here.
Good. But instead, Belwyn and Malagar are hanging out. And so, you're saying you got two kinds of this weird fucking metal armor that's all like shivery and covers your body, and they don't fucking mix? Like, what's up with that?
Well, I'm no metallurgist, but I don't think I should just go willy-nilly trying. Well, I did try to mix them, and they wouldn't touch. They kind of bounced off of each other. They stayed separate. There must be some way to get them to go together. And Malagar will sort of open his robe up so you can see the.
Whoa,
Belwyn can
Andrew,
see
this is a PG-13
That's right. No,
podcast.
No, it isn't.
I was
It's
about to
very
say, I
form-
took way too many F-bombs for that.
Yep.
it's very form-fitting. So I tried to just sort of add it on there, but they stayed separate. They didn't really meld. Like I said, I don't know anything about metallurgy or anything. Why don't you add some chives to that pot? I think that's exactly what this stew needs, Belwyn.
Oh, sure, sounds good to me.
But yeah, so I don't know who would know such a thing, but I certainly would be very interested in it because I don't know, that'd be kind of cool. And maybe there's some interesting ornamental possibilities. Not my area of expertise, really, but I have idea. I've got some sketches.
You do have quite a lot of sketches, that's for sure. Oh, Ross, what brings you over here?
Victor and Wildfire mentioned research.
Oh, I figured all of you Forester types were having a secret meeting without us. You know, discussing about ways to, get rid of us once you get back to the Prime, now that you got your thing and all.
We were.
Oh, alright. I think that's a couple gold you owe me, Malagar, but we'll settle up later.
I thought they were better people, to be honest.
What's in the pot?
That's not a bet you should make.
Well, we just added some chives, and I don't know, I've been drinking the whole time, so I think it's got some wine and some 3 or 4 kinds of meat and a bunch of onions, and what else did we put in there?
Well, there's whatever that strange bird was, a good deal of whatever kind of cream that was. It seemed to thicken it right up. It smells amazing.
I mean, God damn it. I'm going to take that line again. Ross is already, just licking his lips and just salivating.
Oh, they have these wee garlics that just walk around on their sprouts. You gotta catch them, and they make these terrible little screams when you cut them apart, but they taste so good.
Bowen, I think those might be some of the locals.
What? I mean, if they were, they would first... when I said I want some garlic, they brought it right up. It's not like they were like, oh, we can't give you that because that's actual people here.
Maybe they were prisoners.
Did you say what you were going to do with the garlic?
Yeah, I was going to eat it. Right, yeah. I was like, I want to make a stew and I want some garlic. And they're like, oh, right. I mean,
maybe they were condemned prisoners.
It's quite possible. Look, the thing is, we may be heroes here, but I don't think that means they're just going to go straight to Fey trafficking to be like, oh, they want some garlic slaves. Let's go ahead and send them up.
You don't have to convince me. Several of the locals have looked tasty.
Things you can only say in private in the Feywild.
And now you can find out just how tasty. And Malagar will ladle out a big bowl for Ross. Why don't you have the first real bite of it?
I'll start eating soup. I pick around the onion and the carrots. I eat the meat and the broth. I try one of the garlic locals.
So it is especially delicious. It's kind of cooked, though, which is kind of like... Ugh.
I'm used to it. It's been, half a year, most of a year now?
But it does have a delicious piquant on the tongue. It's just enough to kind of... that garlic kind of almost heat to make your mouth water and serve as an excellent counterpoint to the tender flesh of several kinds of birds, it sounds like.
It's like, as I finish, Malaga, I've been meaning to ask, why is your robe or cloak open?
Oh, I was just showing Belwyn here my. You've seen the liquid bronze armor, and he'll open it up again, so we get some nipple into the picture.
Because of course your armor has nipples on it.
I mean, it's form-fitting liquid metal, so it's just representing what's underneath it.
Is that the new one you've gotten, or is that the one that you got from your restaurant business?
This is the one I got from what was left over from the insurance payments from the restaurant business.
So I was going to ask, because you knew a fair amount, like the chives were a great points.
Yes.
What's this whole restaurant business that you keep bringing up, but we never actually talk about?
It's kind of a painful point, really. I was involved in the hospitality industry a while back, and my partners wound up being a bunch of unreliable assholes.
So kind of just like this group, only different.
Yes.
All right.
I canonized some of their stories into a few of these scrolls, only lightly embellished, I assure you.
Why are they all naked?
That's what sells well.
Ross nods like that makes total sense.
I believe it.
Yes. And so a lot of different things happened. We thought we were riding high, and then various substances were abused, and people owed more and more money to local guilds, and then the paperwork wasn't being filled out, and before you know it, they were repossessing large swaths of the joint. So one night we got together and figured out, we're really heavily insured against a lot of things, and this running this whole place is really holding us back in some sense. What if? And one of them was like, "Oh yes, and everything's made out of wood, which is very convenient."
Just a quick side note to the listener, not who you think it was.
And they came up with a nice solution. We managed to get most everyone out before the conflagration happened. Only lost a few, and well, the ghost was terribly upset. The maitre d' was terribly upset.
Wait, your maitre d' was a ghost?
Yes. He was a spirit who was haunting the place, but then we made him a good deal, and he decided to come work for us. And I don't quite understand how ghosts spend money, but there it is.
I presume they've got ghost tail and ghost horse, right?
Yeah, this is true. There's lots.
You're the cleric here, right? Like, shouldn't you be the one that knows about ghosts and shit?
I think I vaguely remember that. Soon I didn't cover that chapter as heavily about ghost pleasures, but now that you mention it, I probably should find out more.
Are all city clerics as educated like you?
I'm very flattered that you called me educated. No, they usually go to really boring institutions where they flagellate a lot and make offerings. Flagellate.
I wasn't sure if that was flagellate or flatulate.
They also flatulate a lot, but that's another problem, really.
It's all the same letters.
No, they get training in those, damn temples of theirs, and it's very stuffy and exclusive, and just because you're a pornographer, we won't let you sign up to join our orders. Ugh. Can't stand it. Anyway, soon they had a mail order course and like that.
You mean a mail order course, not a mail order course.
I was about to say, you were the mail that was ordered?
Both.
All right. Well, if we're asking personal questions, so do we need to go back to that apothecary place?
Yes, we made the wrong turn in the desert for my little health condition. Eventually, I want to go back. I realize we have other, competing priorities other than my, well-being and life, after all. But let's hope we get them done quickly.
This isn't the type of thing where I can, touch you and magic it away or anything, right? That's a thing that I supposedly can do.
No. If that was the case, I probably would have... One of the reasons, I became a cleric was to figure out how the hell to fix this, and... Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was because you couldn't be a ranger or a rogue anymore due to tax liens?
There was also that, too, and I really got out of whack with the various dues I had to pay to the assorted guilds and unions.
It is a shame that my elder did not teach me his tinctures and mixtures before I left. He would have been able to create something that definitely could have fixed whatever ails you.
Well, maybe if the Yuan-Ti can't come up with it, we can go trying to track down your mentor.
Yes, I do wish to return to tell him my progress. I think that could be arranged.
What kind of mentorship did you have, Ross? I am actually kind of curious. I thought you were, more of a wild plains creature, but it sounds like you have some sort of training.
If I could have died on the battlefield along with my brothers, it would have been glorious and honorable. Unfortunately, I was born with these white scales, the mark of a shaman, and thus my honor was to be denied. Instead of dying in battle, I was to lead something I was ill prepared for.
So, who was your mentor then? Another shaman?
Our village shaman. He also did not think I was ready to lead, and has sent me out to see the world and commune with the elements.
How do you like that so far?
I was caught almost immediately by Perrin. It did not go quite as I wanted it to, but I've learned a lot among the foresters.
That's
Wait,
good.
what does talking to a bunch of, weird-ass nature spirits teach you about leading folk?
I don't know yet. I have a suspicion that is part of the training. My master said that I will know when it is time to return.
Oh, man. Sounds like you were sent off to, go sit in the corner of a round room, but best of luck to you there, buddy.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means that sometimes, occasionally, when things are more complicated by a person being in a place, that they are sent off to go do something that is, fucking impossible. So they just send you off to do these things, and they figure out the problems and get them solved by the time you come back, and then at that point, life's great.
Like, at that, Ross is, like, up in like, very aggressive stance. It is not impossible. I have already communed with... Head count. 5 of the spirits of this world. I will find them all and commune with them to learn what it is I am to learn.
Alright. And what have you learned so far?
That there is much that I do not know yet.
Alright, well, that's it's a fair bit better than I thought you were going to say, so I'm glad that it's working out so well for you.
How many more spirits do you have to commune with?
Wait, you don't have a list that has 127 on them. That you have to run into a yellow Ross and a blue Ross.
Everybody knows there's 151 of them.
And a red Ross, and you have to kind of trade some of them, because... Never mind.
Wait, we can trade Ross? What can we get?
No, I think Ross has to trade for other spirits
Yes.
with other multiverse Rosses, of course.
Ross.
White Ross only gets, Arcuno or something. We have to get Zapdos from Yellow Ross, and whatever the red one is, the fire one is from...
Ho-Oh, I think.
The funny thing...
Moltres.
Moltres, yeah.
As you mentioned that, he does kind of lose some of that aggression in his stance, and he's like, I don't rightly know.
Well, it's a good thing. It's a journey of discovery.
So, what was this research you said you were escaping?
The others were researching what exactly to do with that mithril thing.
Oh yes, they seemed like they were in quite the rush to get it back. I can't say I blame them, given the amount of trouble it seems to draw.
I think they were at a loss for what exactly to do with it. It seemed exactly the kind of thing that Wildfire will spend 3 days on if we let him.
I mean, I could go for 3 days of hanging out here and being a big damn hero.
I mean, the Feywild is a pretty interesting place, and yeah, maybe I can get this. See if someone can mix my armors together for something interesting. But Ross, I mean, did you have something that you needed here in town?
Paige, I kind of, without thinking, reach up to the top of my head.
Would you like a qualified medical exam?
How are my new horns doing?
You know, they've gotten to be about this long, which is, I don't know, probably a third again of what they were just a few days ago. And they're kind of brown and bumpy, except the tip is kind of white. And they're definitely, like, you can grab one and kind of pull, like, it's attached.
I would like to leave before these things get any worse.
You know, you should condition those.
But we could find you some horn wax or something.
Looks at you sideways. He can't exactly decide if y'all are joking or not.
No, it's. I mean, otherwise they'll dry out, and that will be uncomfortable.
Right. Once we get word on how stable this way back is going to be, you know, there's all kinds of exciting things that can happen as far as coming here and back again.
That's true. I mean, I'm not as clear on the crossing over bit. Where will it spit us out?
I don't know. I think we're starting to come up with more questions for Wildfire.
I know this one. And
do?
in my best impression of, oh God, who was it? I think it was Victor that said it. Somewhere in Aglarond.
That was Wildfire.
Damn it. Okay, my best impression of Wildfire.
Well,
I'm going to back that up with a performance check of 16.
Yeah, like he's a pretty good Wildfire. He even got the reference to paperwork right.
amazing.
Well, all right then. That you know, the good thing is Aglarond is not you know, a particularly large country, I guess.
That does remind me. Victor said once we go through, be ready to keep on constant move.
Oh, that actually sounds kind of unpleasant if we're going to be dropped, you know, at a random location.
It was also Wildfire.
Damn it! I was going to see if one of these Eladrin had something that might be able to give us a quick night's rest without the actual rest.
Well, I mean, they do have something like that. And I was actually a really big fan of it. But you know, it's sort of this crystalline white powder that you pack into a pipe, and you barely have to rest at all for 72 or 84 hours at a time. But let me tell you, coming off of it's really, really pretty rough.
I thought it was really bad for your teeth too.
That's just sort of a side effect of not brushing them and, you know, it drying out and lots of other things. I mean, listen, you can stop anytime.
White powder, yes. I
Yes.
will be sure to ask them about that.
I could probably help you score some right here in town.
I want to buy it.
Sure.
That's. I was about to say that's what he means, and then Belvin looks over at Malgar. That's what you meant, right?
I mean, yes.
I feel like I'm I'm the Padme in that meme now. It's just like, to buy, right?
Yes, of course.
Right?
Or you can sell yourself. I mean, there are many options.
Boy,
Usually people start
presents
out buying and then go to other options eventually.
presence or absence in a comma in the next to last sentence would have been critical.
Oh, yes.
But yes, I think they have exactly that kind of thing here.
All right. If y'all are heading back, I'm gonna go see if I can find something, or find some of this white powder and horn wax.
Best of luck to you.
You know what? That sounds great. Let's go on a shopping trip.
So, Paige,
I can
I'm going to
specialize.
spend the rest of the time avoiding doing research by shopping for white powder and horn wax.
Okay, so to sum up, you like some of the people kind of look at you funny, and instead they point you towards an amber-colored potion. It's kind of like a darker version of honey, and they say that it will give you the effects of sleeping, even though you don't need to sleep. You still need to spend the same amount of time doing quiet things. But for non-elves, it allows them basically to act like an elf for one night, where you don't really need to sleep.
I will purchase 5 of those.
And in fact, they refuse to sell them to you. Instead, you are handed.
Sure.
Instead, you are handed 6 of them.
Those bastards just giving it to us.
How dare they?
First taste is free.
Your silver is apparently no good in Mithrendain.
Okay. Just for record-keeping sake, what would one call these things?
I will put it in the chat.
Call them magic potions
Ooh.
of crystal meth.
The secret ingredient was crystal meth all
Yes.
along.
So the elves call it waking brew.
Ooh.
Mhm. I will take the 6 bottles of Waking Brew and store them safely for when we inevitably cannot take a long rest because we gotta keep moving. Can one
Alrighty.
still walk while under the effects of this and benefit?
Let me check.
Things to ask before buying something.
I didn't buy it. I scored it.
You did actually score it.
I mean, that's the weird part.
It's beautiful.
So you can walk, but it has to be at a very slow, gentle pace at about half speed.
Nice. Malagar will go over to wherever it is that Wildfire and Victor are and knock on their door. Hello?
The door will be opened.
No. Hey,
What?
the stew's ready if you want some.
I suppose a break is probably in order. Wildfire, are you at a time when you can take a break?
Yeah, I mean, the library's next, so I suppose it'd probably be good to get something to eat before I spend the rest of the night researching.
I think they might get cross if you attempt to bring Stu into the library.
Probably.
I
I will
mean,
go eat some stew.
we're famous, but we're not eat stew in the library famous.
Librarians tend to have a different set of priorities.
It's a high bar.
It is.
I didn't even recommend that we do it. I'm not an idiot.
That's how we lose all of our accreditation here. Be like, they did what?
Get out.
In the library?
Get
I
out.
mean, they tried to make you food, and apparently you wouldn't have it. But
I mean, we did have that, and then we made stew.
fair enough.
We had
You gotta-
the bones of all the things we ate. Had to make a stock, and then made a stew from there. God.
Gotta keep your hand in.
Excellent. Here, Malaga will ladle out some big bowls of this stuff.
Oh, it's quite good.
Yes, it has like the sharpness of garlic and the warm underlying taste of onion, seasoned with various types of birds that are a complete treat to one's palate.
This doesn't have that moving garlic, right? I'm
Oh,
allergic.
Lots of it.
Great.
They're
Just
not
eat around
moving
it.
anymore.
So there is a knock at your door.
A knock. All right, so I'll go answer it.
All right, it is the lavender and purple colored Eladrin who goes by Wisteria.
Ooh.
And he says, I realize that you are probably winding down for the evening. However, there has been a general sentiment within the city to hold a parade in your honor tomorrow. And I was wondering if you would be averse to participating in it. It is formally to celebrate the reestablishment of Cendriane so that the Winter Fae now once again have a home and can start rebuilding. Given your inclusion in the events that made that possible.
Mm-hmm. We were totally included, yes.
I like
you were
parades.
Expectingly.
I think we'd at least be willing to send a representative. What time should we be ready?
In the hour of the daffodils in the morning, I'll have someone come get you. It's roughly morning.
I could probably lead up this representation actually, but I was actually looking for if you knew someone who worked in magical armors. You see, I have these 2 flasks of molten armor here, and I'm looking for someone who can execute a design like this. And Malaga will hold up his sketch pad.
Let's see.
By combining them.
I can only imagine the legend looking down and then blinking, looking up and like, that's a penis!
So Wisteria thinks a moment and says, you should contact Thorn. Her armors are renowned throughout the realm. I shall get you a small map of the city tomorrow morning, and you can go see her whenever.
Excellent.
Okay. Very well. I will let the persons coordinating this know that you would be willing to at least send a representative in the morning. Good eve. And he bows gracefully and walks away.
What kind of wet blankets are you all that you don't go to a parade in your own honor? Malagar says once the door closes.
I just didn't want to answer for you. I would be willing to go.
I see. What about the rest of you? Are you gonna ditch out on all of this Feywild town going wild for you? I mean, it's gonna be amazing. Or do you just
I have a lot of research to do.
I see.
Parades? No, give me my books.
All right, so that's two no's for the parade.
So Belwyn is off with Ross scoring illicit goods off screen.
Oh, I thought we were all together eating stew. I got mixed up.
No.
I suppose it depends on when the parade exactly is. I guess I'll eat quickly and get to studying and go from there.
Excellent. So what? Oh, go ahead.
I was saying it might be an interesting conversation piece. You could simply take a book or two with you on the parade. I mean, I think we'll be on a float. You won't have to walk.
Well, that's good.
And you could be shushing the parade.
Right, or we might be sitting in a single position while the parade marches by. It depends on the kind of parade, I suppose.
That is true. It might be a military review. I guess it'll be a surprise.
Who knows how they do it here in the Feywild?
I mean, wouldn't it be cool to sit there and wave at all the useless elf military that did nothing to save them as they proudly walk by on their proud steeds and shiny armor?
I suppose.
You'd be like, look at that guy. He looks powerful. He was helpless, to help them, but, he's got a big lance.
They do like their lances. It's true.
You're really throwing a lot of shade. Be sure to, well, I guess you can choose whether or not you want to continue to do that during the parade.
Seems a little gauche, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, these people are, I'm sure, especially the Winter Fae, I'm sure, are very happy to get back to their territory.
I imagine they would. Although, if you really wanted to, you could create a satirical float mocking their inability to defend themselves and see how that goes over.
I'll leave it to you, Malagar.
Do we have time to make? Do you have any experience making floats?
I actually have a lot of experience making satirical floats.
Only satirical ones, though.
Yes. Listen, if you're going to get run out of a town, you might as well do it in style.
If you're going to get run out of the town, get run out of the town.
That's right.
Andrew, you may have a point of inspiration.
No half measures.
I will pass it to someone else who needs a point of inspiration.
I'll take it.
Andrew,
Yes.
I feel like at some point you should break it into a story about that one time where you worked with the what were the people in
The Gonsman.
the Gonsmen.
Right. That was an interesting experience.
Paige, I'll kind of scarf down my stew and then go and start doing some research in hopes to actually have time to go to this parade.
Okay. You want to make me an ID research roll?
Sure.
I'd love to see another 23.
What kind of roll would that be?
28.
Or 28. It'd be Arcana, unless you have something else that, it would be Arcana, but I could also see Nature.
I rolled real shitty.
Who are you?
If only there was anyone at the library to notice this and see that you were indeed a doppelganger.
I was gonna say.
I mean, it really just means I'm going to research for longer, ultimately.
Yeah. So, you do end up burning a fair bit of the midnight oil. So let's see what other people are doing. So Belwyn and Ross are out and about town. And as soon as Ross starts bargaining for the Waking Brew, the Eladrin there's like a whispered conversation in very rapid Eladrin. And the Waking Brew gets shoved at you. And then cups of tea get brought out to you.
Ooh.
And these delicate little pastries that are like layered dough and honey and rose water get brought out to you.
Is there meat in this?
And no, but the minute you say that, then a few minutes later, kind of a beautiful tray of slices, very practically see-through slices of boar get brought out to you, and they've all been cultured and cured in various different ways.
Bowen, it's no wonder you scaleless folk play the hero so often. Why did nobody mention how great this sort of treatment was? As I'll take another piece of meat.
Yeah, they're like paper thin, and like I said, you can practically see through them. And they've all got this one's kind of sweeter, and that one's very peppery, and that one's got garlic, and this one has tarragon, and so they're all kind of different tastes. It's basically meat candy.
I mean, they've been ruined in several ways, but they are nonetheless delicious.
Well, so here's the whole trick to that, Ross. When you're a princess, you just get this all the time. So I'm glad that you're getting to enjoy what my life normally is when I'm not in places like this. But this is awful nice.
There are no princesses among the tribes.
They're all warrior queens.
Well, I mean,
they're all warriors, definitely. That's not how the tribe's hierarchy goes.
well, I mean, so if you don't have princesses, what do you have? There's gonna be women in power in your society.
There are women shaman, of course. Any with magical aptitude are elevated to positions of shamanhood or
Yeah, she got like
leadership. But
sheets that are lady lizards, right?
of course, some of the most mighty warriors have been female of the folk. Gender has little to do with one's ability to murder your enemies.
Coda, you are a man after my own heart. You may also have a point of inspiration.
I will toss that one to somebody else, because I'm
catch
rolling
it.
tonight.
Because I don't think I have one, or if I do, I forgot. So, haha.
So, it's kind of like a crowd of looky-loos has gathered around Belwyn and Ross, and someone kind of pushes their way to the front of the crowd. Normally, Eladrin are very calm and cool and collected, and this one looks a bit frazzled. Their hair is kind of unkempt under a beautiful hat, and they say, "I am Elenina, and I am one of the patronesses of the Trade Guild, and I had heard before you left that you had been interested in contacting the Trade Guild. I regret that I was unable to catch you before you left, but if you have time to talk at your convenience, I would love to make an appointment with you."
Oh, shit. Talking. Paige, I put on my best smile.
Don't mind Ross. He's trying his best. Anyways, that said, yes, I'd be honored to that thing. It largely depends at this point on how easy it is to move people and things back and forth between your glorious city and our home realm. But we have some people looking into that, and I'd be happy to make some preliminary discussions tomorrow at some point. I hear there's somebody mentioned a parade.
Yes, there's definitely going to be a parade. The folk of Cendriane are returning home.
Oh, well, that sounds great. I look forward to seeing that. Yeah, let me see what tomorrow's looking like after that parade, since I am but one part of this mighty team, and I would be happy to have those discussions with you.
Excellent. I shall leave you with my calling card. It's my understanding that you are housed at the palace.
Are we housed at the palace?
Yes.
Oh, yes, it's such a wonderful palace it is.
Excellent. Either I shall call upon you or perhaps one of my superiors.
Wonderful, wonderful.
They bow gracefully, seeming having recovered from their hurried arrival here, and fade back into the crowd.
I return the bow with flourish. Or the velvet does.
Make me some kind of charisma check to show me how much flourish you got there, girl.
I mean, all right.
Let me suggest that the use of intimidation for this charisma check will produce somewhat different results
What
than
do you
other
mean?
skills.
Just because my flourish is so awesome that it's scary.
Paige, if she uses intimidation, she just takes the closest watermelon and crushes it between her thighs. Flourish.
No, I will do so with persuasion. Let's see how these dice feel. 20.
All right. Your graceful bow seems to cause a stir within the crowd and other rippled conversations in Eladrin. You, I believe, have the social intelligence of a brick. You sure do. However, Ross understands that this is a reaction of kind of like, oh, she's very fancy. In kind of a good way from the Eladrin.
Like, I understand that is the reaction the crowd is giving her. The part that really confuses Ross is how she got that reaction.
Cause and effect are not linked in Ross's brain. It's an amazing
difficult.
place.
It's difficult.
So is that something that princesses of your kind do? Establish trade with others?
It's one of many things. Most of my relations with being royalty have mostly to do with dealing directly with people, helping them with, celebrations, parades, giving hope in times of despair and things like that. And also largely on the field of battle. I haven't actually been part of a parade that wasn't. Well, I guess this one's for combat. So I mean, it's been a few months, but as for the trade, no, I'm figuring this shit out as I go along. But it seems like it'd be good for these folks and for our folks to send things back and forth, because after we solve all them Thane fucks, if there's not trade crossing, there's likely armies crossing, and I think it'd be better for both folks if they got some quality metalwork, and we got some of these tiny little slices of meat, among other things, all that cool wood stuff. When you tried to buy that whole mural, remember that?
That's what I don't understand. I mean, the way that scaleless trade gold and trinkets for goods, I guess makes some sort of sense. But among the tribesmen and women, if another tribe has something you want, you simply take it.
Right, so what the trade does is you do the exact opposite of that. You do it in a peaceful manner, which, as I previously said, I know next to nothing about, so this is going to be exciting.
But then,
it's hopefully a good idea.
How will they know that they need to fear and respect you?
Well, so part of that is going to come through, I don't fucking know, probably culture exchange or something. Like, I had people for this.
So you have people that will take what you want from those that you trade with?
No.
Yes.
What sort of yes, but in exchange we give them things. We give them things, and in exchange they give us things. And through that transfer builds trust and cultural respect for one another that leads to a healthier dynamic.
That seems like nonsense, he'll say, and he'll kind of punctuate that with another bite of meat.
If you asked me that about a year ago, I would have said the same, but, here I am broadening horizons.
Ross,
We should.
the Eladrin hear your joke about having, not your joke, but your point about the meat being ruined in various ways? There is another stir within the crowd, and an Eladrin comes forward with another plate of thin sliced meat, and you can see like salt and herbs sprinkled on top of them.
So close.
And you notice that every one of those slices of meat is in fact raw.
So close, like
So close.
90% of the way there.
Is
They're
it also
trying very
decorated
hard.
with the garlic that's still kicking? It's not quite dead.
I mean, when he sees
They
it,
do
he'll-
have some. They do have some of the dancing garlic, like as a centerpiece.
That poor garlic.
I'm horrified what these
You're the one who came up with it, buddy. I'm just guessing it. That is all you've been.
I mean, it seemed like a fairy thing to do.
So, Joe, I believe Wildfire was in the library.
He was.
So it gets kind of tedious having, like, most of the books are in Eladrin at this point.
Mm-hmm.
A fair few are in Draconic. A few are in the Elemental Tongue. But you end up having to go through a bunch of texts in Eladrin that are kind of a pain in the ass to translate to Modern Elvish. Though they have someone in the library who will stay up all night to help you,
Okay.
as long as you need help. But it's slow going.
Sure.
And it takes till, I don't know, several bells after midnight. But you find out that when the Eladrin originally settled in Aglarond, becoming elves, they planted the Mythal in a portion of Aglarond known as... Let me take you there to the map. I have so many tabs here.
Maps.
Oh, that is totally not the map I wanted, though.
Oh, man. This is a nice map, though.
Yeah, it is. All right,
Aw.
this is the map I wanted. So if you zoom in on the very middle part,
Enhance.
yes,
Magnify.
magnify and enhance. In the Yourwood, there is a large opening on the kind of eastern side called the Sunglade. And the Mythal was planted there, and it grew into a mighty oak tree, so large and so tall that it shaded out other trees nearby, which is why there's no trees that had grown there. And somehow King Elthond had encouraged it to take the form of an acorn, presumably, so he could take it off to battle in the Singing Sands.
Sure.
You feel like you could certainly replant it in the Sunglade. However, this thing is going to need guardians. And it's going to need guardians that are going to be with it forever. So you think that perhaps putting it at King Elthon's tomb would encourage his restless spirit to hang out and watch it most possessively, as it is his fucking fault it got lost in the first place.
That is true. Where's King Elthon's tomb?
It's about halfway between the Sunglade and where the word Yourwood is.
Wait. I just want to make sure I get this straight.
Yes.
We're going to entrust that the asshole who took this thing to Thay in the first place to guard it?
Well, it was thought towards the end of his life he was rather repentant. He wasn't killed immediately at Singing Sands. There was a fighting retreat, and he was mortally wounded, but it took him about a day to die. And it is rumored that during that day, he was quite distraught that the Mythal had been lost, and swore that he would go and find it, and it should never leave Aglarond again.
Is he known to haunt his tomb? Or am I going to need to figure out how to summon up a ghost?
It is rumored that his spirit lies uneasy in his tomb because he never got to finish the last thing he wanted, which was to return the Mythal to Aglarond.
Okay. That seems like a reasonable place as any.
So that is certainly one option. Putting it back in the Sunglade puts it in the middle of an elven community who will be extremely hostile to anyone trying to remove it. There is another large, relatively large city in the Yourwood on the kind of central western side called Relcath's Foot. And it is supposedly a spot on the world where an ancient deity of forests, an Eladrin deity of forests, had set his foot down in Aglarond about the time it was founded.
Okay.
So that is certainly another option. Another option is to put it out somewhere in the vastness that is the large, unsettled tracts of the Yourwood and hope nobody finds it.
Well, am I worried that once we plant it, someone will be able to find it?
It's possible.
I'm sorry. I just got a stroke of genius here. Joe, if you really want it protected, I know a Knoll tribe in the southern part of Aglarond that Paige would not dare do things to.
That's true. Nothing is
That's true. They do have plot armor.
I
The
feel
thickest of plot
like
armor.
I'm being manipulated.
The
I don't
thickest
know why
of
you
plot
said
armor.
that.
Coda, that is an awful idea. You may have a point of inspiration.
Awfully
I
clever.
don't know what you want from me, Paige.
That is manipulative and wrong, and I will not stand for it.
And by that you mean 100% correct, and they have the thickest plot armor you could possibly describe.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Pidge, we're not even on the same plane of existence as they are, and I can see their plot armor.
I like gnolls, okay? I wanted gnolls to have a happy ending. They're not just barbarous murderers.
Brilliant. Just
Wait,
brilliant.
which one of us gave them a happy ending?
Stop.
I mean, obviously.
Sorry, I
obviously,
couldn't help
Malagar.
myself. I
No,
had to
no.
point that out.
You're not wrong, sir. You are not wrong. This is called knowing the DM's OOC weaknesses and using them against her. Clever players do that.
I mean, one of the problems I think is, I don't know if any of us are actually familiar with the Yearwood.
True.
I will
And you don't
point
have to
out,
plant it in the Yearwood. You could plant it in the middle of the Umber Marshes
we've been there
extend-
before.
and extend the influence of the Yearwood to the west towards Thay and make it an even stronger border against the Red Wizards.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't one of our commanders disappear in
Yes.
this one of the
In,
ruined
in
cities?
fact, the one who is here,
Right.
who is
One who dropped off a bunch of elven gear for us.
Mhm.
yup, Rotharian de Calandra.
Okay, I think we have a couple options that we can discuss as a group. There was something else I wanted to research. What was it?
There are other places, like you could go and plant it at Citadel Dantalion to see if you could drive the Thayans out of Emek. Because there are fortresses on either side of the River Umber.
That seems like a terrible idea.
I'm just putting it out there. You could plant it in the capital, Belprinalar, and put the
I don't trust any
Aegis-
of those old fogies.
you could put the Aegis of protection over the capital and some of the cities in that area. You could put it. You could put it on the southeastern border of Aglarond, which is protected by mountains, but not much else. Although there is a new Gnoll tribe there. You could plant it in the far western side of the Yorwood and move the influence of the Eladrin out to the islands, which are mostly just
Pirates?
at this point, but it will allow Aglarond to perhaps colonize further west.
Elf pirates.
I mean,
A fair few of them are.
if
They
they,
worked in Blazing Saddles.
Okay, I feel like we have a couple of good options and an infinite number of bad options. Thank you, Paige.
I live to serve.
I mean, it probably wouldn't be crazy just wherever we pop into Aglarond, just like double check it's Aglarond, then just plant it.
You could plant it in the Singing Sands and reclaim that territory.
Wow, Victor, that is, I think, the lowest bar we could. It's just like, yeah, that's good enough.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
like Singing Sands are a blasted waste, but if you planted it there, it might kind of serve as a stopper against Thayan forces arriving between Thesk and the River Umber.
Yeah, if I'm gonna do that though, we should do it near like the Tanith Mountains, so it kind of catches the Singing Sands and the Umber Marshes.
Sure.
I know a
Or
place
you
you can
will-
put it there.
or we could take it in a battle with us. That'll work good.
Or
True.
you could absolutely put it at the forefront of a army of pissed off elves and march that shit right into Thay.
Because it's a powerful artifact, and there's no way Wildfire could handle it by himself. But if he took the hand of Belwyn, and Belwyn took the hand of Malagar, and Malagar took Ross's hand, and Ross took Victor's hand, and we all stood together, we could probably have a dramatic ending scene where we did control it.
Ooh, there you go.
Is
So
this
that is
before
the
or
cat
after-
bringing me a toy. I don't know if you guys just saw it drop out of her mouth.
Is this before or after our dance off with Last Town?
That's where I was thinking.
Directly after.
I mean, I'm in. I think that sounds like the best possible way to end this campaign.
Hmm.
But slightly before Chadwick Boseman convinces Galactus that just to be a cool bro. So,
I have not seen that episode yet.
Wow. Yeah, first off, spoilers. Second
Yeah.
off, Galactus, Joe. Really?
yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so what are we on to next?
I was looking for the line about an army that carries the tree before it is invincible.
Yes.
Mm.
So, Paige, while I'm here, I'm also going to research what the heck is going on with my magic.
Oh, okay. You feel like that's worth another Arcana roll?
I can certainly make you another Arcana roll.
Okay. Bring unto me your 23.
Oh god, is the doppelganger rolling another Arcana roll? Oh good, it's Joey.
There we go.
Wow.
There we go. Right. So the mythal is becoming interwoven with your personal magics,
Okay.
and it is, in fact, stronger than you are.
Heard that rumor.
Yes. And because of that, it is basically taking over. And you believe that you are going to have some kind of showdown with it sooner or later to say that either you have control over it or it has control over you. You haven't felt that kind of sentient push. This appears to be some sort of almost silent campaign to get a hold of your magic first, as if that was central to the core of your being.
Weird.
By depriving you of fire magic and instead using its own powers of nature, it is another way to exert control and influence over you.
Okay.
Like I said, there's going to have to be a showdown between the two of you at some point, but it hadn't consciously brought that up yet. You might be able to force that showdown, but you're the weaker partner here.
Sure. I want to get the mythal taken care of before I try to piss it off, so...
Right. So you do believe that if you were to keep it with you, rather than planting it somewhere in Agron or wherever, that it would speed up your growth as a mage, allow you to reach powers that mages do not normally reach.
And allow you to dance.
Yes!
Oh,
Tavis
Yes!
JF with the 8-month subscription.
Hooray!
Tavis!
Thanks,
All right.
Tavis.
Where's my dance music?
Give us the music.
Tavis Cat! Woohoo! Tavis Cat, come on! You can, or Mutant Dance. Nope, they're not. Probably the way.
They're cats, Paige. Cats
Man,
don't dance.
They can dance if they want.
So leave their fronts behind.
And if they don't dance, then they ain't no
You
cats
can
of mine.
dance.
Lily, you want to dance? You do not. I don't care. Ah!
Woo! Old Soul Tiger is dancing with us, everyone. We've done it. We've converted him.
Do you have a blunt?
Oh, you do not like that, do you? Oh.
Oh,
You can say,
okay.
I'm not super fond of this, but I'm not super pissed off.
I like how
about
he's
it.
looking at me like Father's Day.
Lily hated every single bit of it.
Excellent.
This has now become a watch us torture our cats stream.
That's love.
That's the mild inconveniences cats are willing to put up with.
For free food.
Fair enough.
Free food, free litter box, free vet care, free pets, free snugs, free treats, free
It's
toys.
not free. They earn every bit of it.
I agree.
Right, by dancing for our amusement.
Yes. Thank you, Chavis JF. Okay.
Okay.
I
So I'll need
lost.
to at some point
Oh,
confront
but-
the missile.
But so right. But you should probably do it at a place and time of your choosing,
Sure.
where you feel you are advantaged. Because, like I said, you're coming into this at a serious disadvantage.
Sure.
If you went ahead and planted it somewhere, its effects would probably fade. It will leave you forever changed in some ways and forever empowered in some ways, but you would probably get your fire magic back.
Okay.
Though, like I said, you would probably be left with additional gifts. In order to really use it as part of your personal magic,
Mhm.
you would have to essentially carry it around with you. And as long as you were, in the Yerwood area, or really in Aglarond, you would still extend the strength of the mythal around.
Mhm.
So it would still form pretty good protection. Of course, you are mortal, and
Yep.
right, it would put a huge target on your ass.
Mhm.
With regards to your spell, you believe that the power that you use to seal the rift between the two caught the attention of powerful folk in both the Feywild and in the Shadowfell. Now, in the Feywild, you have the rulers of summer, winter, spring, and fall, who were all rooting for you and who were well aware of what you were doing. In the Shadowfell, you have people like the Raven Queen, Vecna. I think Jurgle hangs out there, one of Kellenbor's exarchs, who's not exactly a good guy. Kind of a dick. And various other powers that I could list for you after given a little bit of time to do more homework. And they probably weren't informed and may or may not have regarded this in their best interest. And because of that, any one of them could have attached a portion of their mantle to that 5th level spell slot. So, figuring out whose interest you piqued might be useful. That would be something that a divination spell could probably figure out, and I can't remember the one I want. It's probably Contact Other Plane. But let me look. Give them to me by level game.
Sadly, go ahead.
Commune, which is 5th level, would do it. Commune with Nature, also 5th level, would do it. Contact Other Plane, 5th level, would do it.
How about Legend?
Legend Lore? Not really. Plain old Divination, which is 4th level, might, but it would be kind of tricky. 2nd level Augury, very weak.
Okay.
Ooh, Paige, what about the power of friendship?
I mean, that's always good.
Well, that's what Contact Other Plane is, right? You make friends with Demigod.
Yeah.
And
point.
even though you may not be able to cast some or all of these spells, Malagar might? Are you guys 5th level spells yet?
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Malagar can get in any of the ones that are cleric available. And there are certainly wizards here that might be willing to trade spellbooks with you for a while and or just cast the spell for you.
Sure.
All right, y'all. Our new goal is to show Wildfire that we are his true friends and open up his heart to accept us.
Seems like a lot of work.
In order to save the world.
Yeah.
Right?
It does seem like a lot of work.
Okay.
Any other questions you needed to ask the letter?
I'm trying to think if there were. I don't think there are. But give me a second to ponder. So, just so I have clarity on the confrontation from the Mythal, at some point in the future, whether we bury it or not, I will need to confront the power of the Mythal.
No, if you bury it, if you plant it, then your association with it is over.
Okay.
It will probably leave you some parting gifts, which may take some time to develop, and it will essentially be independent and fulfilling its fitness function.
Sure. Like, our plan pretty solidly is to bury the Mythal, so...
I mean, on the other hand, you could keep it, and its effects would still protect Aglaron, mostly as well. As long as you didn't leave.
Yeah, I mean, sure. But then, like, anyone could scry on me, and that sounds awful. So, I'm really against it.
Yeah, the scry and fry is certainly a thing that can happen in 5th edition.
Okay, I think I am good for research.
Okay.
So many choices.
Okay. Everybody goes to sleep and we wake up in the morning?
Cool.
Sounds like fun.
Alright. Press the long rest button. Do it now!
No, anything but that.
It's a trap.
Two long rests in a row? What's even going on?
Gross.
I think
I
my
think that's a
character
new
still
high
muted
score.
itself because I hit the long rest button the second time.
Might have. Like I said, 2 in a row. I think that's a new high score for us.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Where's the new low score?
Amazing.
So, when you wake the next day, you can hear various music coming from various places around town, which is a little unusual. There's always a little music in the background, but this is like several groups seem to be warming up. And the Eladrin bring a breakfast buffet to you with all sorts of delicious fruits and vegetables and oatmeal and granola and sausage and grilled partridge, and then a plate of thick boar steaks that are yet uncooked.
They're raw, but they've got a bunch of herbs and spices.
God damn it.
Nope.
Salts and sugars on them.
All they have on them is salt and just a sprinkle.
Salt's pretty delicious.
They do have several pots of interesting condiments with it, though.
I use none of them, unless any of them look like more meat. If there's a meat sauce that is made of meat,
If
I'll
there's
partake.
An au jus or something.
Right.
right?
Some squished eyeballs.
Yeah, no, they're not.
Yeah, sounds great.
Malagar will actually skip the fruit bats and make his way into town to find Thorn's shop.
Okay. It only takes a couple of inquiries to find it. Thorns has a sign outside that is wrapped in all sorts of briars.
Ooh.
And it has a rapier, a slim rapier that looks somewhat like a thorn, as well as a shield that looks somewhat like a rose
Oh,
on the sign.
very classy.
Yes. You hear the metallic ring of almost like silver bells of hammers hitting mithril. There are several suits of elven chain hanging on the wall, as well as some other types of metal armor, a variety of weapons. And there's a huge double take when you walk in. It's like they've never... It's like either they've never seen a drow, or there's something about you that they're just shocked about. But then there is a babble of Eladrin, and Eladrin starts walking towards you. She's got a smudge of soot on one cheek, and she has a rather muscular frame for an Eladrin. They tend to be kind of long and lean, but she's actually pretty muscular.
Malagar is very pleased with everyone in this establishment to some degree.
Yes, so they're not mean or ugly to you. They just are surprised.
No. I mean, it's not like he's not used to this sort of reaction, anyways.
Sure. And she comes forward and says something in Eladrin, which you can pretty much guess is a polite greeting.
Malagar doesn't have any of the correct languages for this place, but we'll say in Elven, good morning. I hate to intrude so early.
Oh, I don't speak Elven very well. Mostly Eladrin. Welcome, I am Thorn. How can I help you?
Ah, the proprietress. It's a pleasure. I'm Malagar. I have an interesting question. Malagar will bring out the flask that contains the new suit of armor, and then we'll open up his robe and peel off the existing suit of armor slowly, and put it into another flask.
It does weird liquidy things, but obediently goes into the flask.
Oh my. Breakfast at the show.
Malagar will kind of point at the two flasks and I would like to combine these, maybe with some of these motifs, and he'll hold up the sketchbook for her to see.
She takes the sketchbook and stands there for a long minute with her tongue out between her lips, thinking. And then she digs around in her apron and comes out with a little piece of charcoal and starts sketching on your sketch. So she gives you a couple of options. One of them kind of almost looks like Iron Man armor. It's very aerodynamic and it's bicolored. And It's got panels, alternating panels of the different colors that is a very striking design. She shows you another one that kind of looks like a metallic statue, but it has graceful shadings, an ombre of one color to the other. And then she shows you a couple other sides, a couple other sketches where it looks, it's got big shoulder pads, more like elven plate mail. And says, which one you think you like?
Malagar will point at the sleek one. That's pretty amazing. We should talk about illustrative work at some other point. You have a really nice hand.
Thank you. Only pictures of people in armor, though. Not very good at portraits.
You'd be amazed by how much of a market there is for that.
This armor protects you against fire, yes?
Yes.
Since I have two, I think I can change some of the magic to make the other one protect you from cold.
Cool. That sounds really... My lizard friend would be so jealous.
Yes, you one of the people for Cendriane, yes?
Yes. I hate to put this on you, but it's kind of a rush job because I need to wear it. Oh, I'd like to wear it to the parade in a moment.
Ooh.
You got a couple hours tops.
Yeah. She goes and has a very intense conversation with a little old lady in the back of the shop with long gray hair, which is very rare in Eladrin since they're immortal. And there's a lot of gesturing and voices kind of get raised in the middle of it, but they come to some sort of an agreement. And she says, I can't do by parade, but can do by sunset.
Okay, that's fine. I've got my white leathers. They'll do just fine for a parade here.
You safe.
Yes. Thank you. And thank you, Malagar will say to the older woman who she just had the discussion with.
Do you like these same colors? Bronze and silver?
Whatever. I mean, I've sketched out a few interesting ideas for patterns. If you can work them together as tracery, that would be amazing.
Yes, but what color?
Oh no, I mean this bronze and silver look is perfect.
She looks at you and kind of holds up a thumb to get some perspective and says, "Not purple."
Or surprise me. I like surprises.
Purple?
Yes, purple is lovely.
Silver and purple.
You're the armor.
I will have for you by sunset.
I am in your debt. I will see you then.
My pleasure. My beloved died at Cendriane.
I am so sorry. And he'll take her hand and then leave.
They have peace now.
She's gonna need that hand to make your armor, though.
I mean, this was not Ross taking her hand. It was presumed that it was given back.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Sorry.
Malgar takes your hand. He takes your hand.
Ha
Yeah, Malgar also asked for consent before he takes hands like
Yeah.
This is true. Taking hands being very different than catching hands, which is what you get from Ross.
that. Or Ross catches your hands, and then it's just...
It's on like Donkey Kong. All right. So while that is going on, there is a knock at the door, and there is a delegation of elaborately dressed and coiffed Eladrin who ask to speak with Belwyn at the door.
Belwyn heads over there in the middle of preparing armor for ceremonial purposes.
Owen, it's for you.
Right then, greetings.
There's a whole passel of Eladrin pages and handmaidens and squires who have reported for duty for any sort of armor fitting and polishing.
Oh good, get the fuck in here.
Yeah. They regard it as great armor. A great honor. They spend plenty of time on yours and Victor's armor, and Ross's as well.
I appreciate it.
I'm very disturbed that they keep trying to touch my armor.
They explain that they're trying to clean it.
We tell you that there's a spirit to be seen on the other side of town, but you still have to come back in time for the parade. And that's how we're able to get your armor cleaned.
Excellent.
It's a spirit of milk. Yes, all the cows in that particular pasture.
And you're sure that this milk has a spirit?
Yeah, just keep moving. It'll show up.
Yeah, I mean, once you get right in there, the spirit will just move you.
Okay, well, Paige, I guess I spend at least an hour on the other side of this Eladrin city mooing.
There's a whole lot of children that join you and moo as well. They have no idea what this is supposed to do, but they think it's hilarious. So apparently just Ben, I think you broke it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this rate,
Glad I'm not there.
Paige,
they-
why would my friends lie to me? I don't understand.
Nope, they most certainly would not. Clearly, Belwyn was just wrong. So this is the trade delegation, and they suggest that the group retires to the library because there's tables there for that are better for more people to sit around.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought this was the people that were doing the armor fitting.
No, the trade delegation shows up.
In addition to the armor fitting?
Oh,
people?
yes.
Okay.
Your rooms are like Grand Central Station. Or
Great.
5 Point Smarta.
Once the armor folk are set on the right path, I will meet with them as well. All of which being predicated on the logistics of getting us back and getting things back over.
One of the lead Eladrin, named Alcinoe, she says, going through her list of Eladrin names. Relenina is there as well, but apparently she is lower on the pecking order than Alcinoe. Alcinoe says, well, it should be no problem to get back and forth from here to Aglaron. There are, in fact, several secret ways that are effectively doorways between the Feywild and Aglaron already.
Oh, great! One moment. Let me get my spiritual advisor. Hey, Wildfire! Would you mind coming in here, please, to listen to this part about logistics?
Sure. What am I listening to now?
About secret ways to and from here to where we are heading back to, since that
Oh, okay,
might
sure.
determine certain things about where we land.
Alcinoe introduces herself. She is the trade magistrate for Mithrendain. Yes, so we do maintain several secret ways back and forth to Aglaron. Originally, these were meant for us to stay in contact with our kin in the Yorewood, but occasionally we set up a fairy circle or Underhill entrance to other places in Aglaron where the Fae might want to visit. Sometimes people come through, often accidentally. We try to get them home as soon as we can, though time is a funny thing. We could set up a way to your home. We definitely hurt for stonework and silverwork and jewel work here, and have plenty of woodwork to trade, as well as fine instruments, woven goods, and the like.
I am making sure that all of this is written down, probably by me, because I don't have someone like Bowen's like, and then realizes like, oh fuck,
I better take notes.
I better take notes, and so she is scribbling notes furiously in like the handwriting that a doctor would even look at and be like, what the fuck is this?
Like, don't come after my handwriting like that.
I mean, I wasn't specifically saying Paige Lightman's handwriting, but
Where do you don't need to explain to me exactly, but like roughly where do your normal paths come out in Aglaron?
So this part of the Feywild and Aglaron are not exactly contiguous, and they do come out in rather different places. There are no ways that come out towards any of our major cities. That would be foolish on our part, and the entrances here are all pretty well guarded. There are several in and around the countryside, though.
Sure. I'm sorry, on the Aglaron side, where do they attach?
Oh, in various different places. Like I said, fairy rings, stone menhirs, underhills.
Really good sandwich shops.
One luggage store.
Really, what they're trying to get at is that they only attach to the most strategically advantageous positions. It's fine.
Okay.
Most of the ways are in the Yorewood, but not all of them.
Okay. That sounds good. Is travel possible easily back and forth for trade to actually happen?
Easily is not a word I'd use, but we could train a trusted mage on the opposite side to open it whenever both parties could agree on it being open.
Okay.
What, could you train me?
I could, yes.
How much time you got?
Well, how much time do you have, sir? You're a hero of the realm. I would be honored to teach you any spell you like.
Excellent. We should definitely do that before I leave. Wait, any spell?
Any spell that I know.
Stay
There
strong.
it is.
You gotta be a little more coy than that. A bit.
Most of the magic I know has to do with transportation from one place to another through the ways and otherwise.
We need to talk.
Isn't there that spell about dreaming or something that you keep going on about?
It's gonna be great someday. It's gonna be great.
Takes you from one place to another? Alright.
Could I put in a sample order for items from your people that I could then come through and pick up in a moon's time, or perhaps two?
That sounds like an excellent plan to get things started.
And could you give me a list of what your people might find valuable in trade for it?
Of course, I would be happy to do that.
All right, so she
I
comes
can
up with a
certainly-
list.
I can certainly also represent Valprentelar in this at the very least. I have a fair amount of knowledge of their everything, so.
So she comes up with a list for Belwyn of like a decorative crown forged out of mithril with emeralds and blah blah blah, and other sort of artistic items, as well as a longsword that looks like axe.
Okay.
And it's pretty detailed, careful work, but something your smiths can absolutely knock out of the park.
Great.
And she talks to Belwyn and draws out from her a list of things that Boulder Hall might need.
Okay.
In regards to Valprentelar, we don't like to put too many ways near large cities like that. As I said, it becomes a bit of a security risk.
I'm sure I could find a merchant who is interested in traveling to the correct spot for the right sort of trade opportunities.
Excellent. Yes, so there are certainly needs from Valprentelar area. I have not been in a very long time to the area near Valprentelar, but it used to have several mines just inland that held caches of copper and lead and tin that might be useful.
Those mines are still worked.
Very well. She draws up another thing that is a list of, X many bars of copper ingots of that purity and that kind of stuff that are not difficult to do.
Sure.
But they would give someone in Valprentelar a good chance to show off their metallurgy.
Mm-hmm.
And in return, comes back for, this many bushels of dancing garlic and this many fairy chives and other kind of specialty items from the Feywild.
Yeah, I would imagine like it's a big enough city, it'd be interested in functionally anything. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And these discussions take kind of a while, and there's a lot of back and forth and paperwork. Like, there's a lot of paperwork for Wildfire.
Sounds
In
great.
triplicate.
Sounds great.
Exciting.
Yes.
And as she's kind of getting up to go, and I said, "Oh, and after the parade, we should talk."
Yes, of course. She searches around in her pouch and pulls out a small calling card. You may contact me anytime.
Excellent. Thank you.
After she leaves, high fives. And then we get back to being ready for the parade.
Yes, so
So much to do.
clothiers are sent in. You are all given new clothes that fit whatever your current predilections are, that are fine Eladrin craftsmanship, as well as makeup and hair and scalp massage and what have you.
I really needed a spa day. This is fantastic.
I wear my best loincloth underneath my Dwarven full plate.
Excellent.
Okay.
Half plate, by the way.
Half plate, which oddly seems a lot cleaner than I remember it.
And it's got flowers in it.
This is weird. Did someone touch my armor while I was gone?
So how did the finding the milk spirit go?
I did exactly what you said, Wildfire.
I did
But-
not say that. That was not me.
Right. I did exactly what you said, Belwyn. But I don't think I pleased the spirit enough.
Well, the good news is there's what did you say last night? That
No,
they
it is that way. Yeah.
I was supposed to say on my screen you're pointing at Ron. Which
Yeah,
is
no.
Anyways, it's like they say though. There's 157 other ones to get, so you just got to keep your heart in there, and one day you're gonna catch them all.
151. Everyone knows that.
151.
In the Johto region.
Mhm.
What if you get other regions?
Well,
Guilty as charged, sir.
I believe we are all looking fine for a parade.
Indeed.
Indeed.
So the parade commences, and as you might have suspected, you're in a special viewing platform with all sorts of elven nobility, and you're at one of the gates of the city, and it looks like a whole bunch of Winterfey are leaving. Many of them have carts or are carrying thick packs, and doesn't look like a whole bunch of soldiers. It looks like women and children, or gender doesn't mean much here, but single parents and children, not people who look more capable, as well as a lot of smaller Fae. And it's actually very pretty because they have a bell choir coming out before them ringing with mithril bells, ringing a gorgeous tune, and there's all kinds of smaller Fae along the side that are throwing what look like slips of paper into the air, but the minute they hit the air, they drift down and they're snowflakes about the size of your hand.
Aw, that's pretty cool.
Ooh.
Yes, and it makes everything quite cold, which is what the Winter Fae like. And there's a bunch of Winterfey children who are kind of jumping around and dancing. One of the yes, noted. And in
I
fact,
put my wedding ring back on. What do you want from me?
in fact, one of the nobles leans over and says, "You realize these are Winterfey children that have never seen snow."
Well,
You
that's
couldn't
just
like.
fucking tragic.
The better off for it. That stuff is hell.
Nope.
The Eladrin kind of like gives you a look and then just decides to like pass right on by that. They're
He
very
and I
glad.
fist bump below the
Right.
fold of the
I'm
page.
sorry. I forgot. Best smile.
Yes, and he refrains from talking too much near Ross as a pretty good spy. And there's a lot of clearly summer fae and spring fae that are in the city. Mostly it's kind of the fall Eladrin that are here. But the other Eladrin are there, and many of them are, kissing and are crying and are waving goodbye, apparently to Winter Fae that have been living with them for a while and are now going back home. So it's quite touching. And there's stirring music, and there's dancers, and there's acrobats, and there's unicorns, and there's a bogwump, and all different kinds of Fae creatures that have basically escorted the Winter Fae to the edge of Mithrendain. And it takes, I don't know, a couple hours. Little canapes are brought by. You are given small glasses of elven wine or Eladrin wine. There's just nothing here for you to eat.
I mean, so are we in the parade or are we watching?
You're on a
parade?
stand.
Like,
You're on a stand
Honored
near
guests.
Yeah, you're on a stand near the edge of town watching the parade go in front of you.
oh
But
god,
don't worry,
Russ.
Ross. You don't get a medal, so that's not weighing you down while
Fair
you're
enough.
watching the whole parade.
I
To
mean,
be fair, nobody's gotten a medal.
Russ is still like antsy as like a small child after like the first 10 minutes. He's just like over this.
Yeah, it's
Malagar's-
a long 2 hours for Ross.
Malagar's really enjoying it. He will devour things. He will hobnob with the nobility.
Yes,
con-
the nobility are super interested in you, and you end up telling the stories of Cendriane and the Shadowfell multiple times.
Yes, I'm no bard, but I can always embellish my own performances.
Wildfire will also hobnob.
So will Belwyn, unsurprisingly.
And there'll be a lot of waving like this as well.
Yes, putting a lot of light bulbs in.
Yes.
I'm constant. Malagar, is your wrist okay?
Yes, it is. You should try it though. It's very soothing when you're No. Side to side. Side. your wrist does turn, right? I don't know anything about lizard man anatomy, but no, only that's okay too. Just quickly grasp the thing.
Like, I've got 4 claws. What do you want
Yeah.
from me?
No rotation at all. How do you?
I mean, maybe I don't know enough about like.
Malachi will watch you grab him by the claw and be like, "All right, tell me when this starts to hurt." And then he'll slowly try to like rotate about where there might be a wrist.
Great. The only thing that could make this parade worse, Malagar tries to break my wrist off. Lovely.
Consensually.
Your wrist doesn't really move in a way that it breaks. It's just going to break your whole arm.
I try and distract our hosts from that.
From Ross.
Malagar takes another hand. He just can't help himself.
Yep.
Yep, it's what he do. It's what he do. So the parade marches out, and a general festive atmosphere spreads through the city. Each of you have received multiple offers of coming to parties, speaking at colloquia, assignations of a more personal nature, and other sorts of solicitations for your person at any time, ranging from right this moment to whenever you good and damn well feel like it. You are the stars of the town.
He must be really glad the Winter Fae are leaving.
Well, yes, but it's more complicated than that. Ross, at one point in time, the Willow Treant comes by and has a very slow conversation with you and says,
Oh God, just when I thought this couldn't get any worse.
Yeah. And says, and I'm not going to do it in slow talk because it makes Ben climb the walls.
It's fine.
And it's not good for
fine.
our marriage.
As long as it's not an all the time thing.
Yeah. And says that she has a special spell to teach you, and you'll have to find out about it next week.
A special
What a
spell.
tease!
Aww.
Right.
Another class ability I'm gonna have to remember that I have. Mage.
Never used.
Gross.
All right.
But he did start using them. Like,
I
we
know.
were proud of him and
I know.
everything.
I know, but it's been 2 weeks. You know he's fucking forgotten.
I'm sorry,
Is it
wait,
only
I have
been 2
class
weeks?
abilities?
Oh my god. Anyways, dear friends, thank you for joining us on this adventure. Please bring your friends to enjoy the show with you. Thank you, chat, for your inspiration. We love having you with us. I have missed you terribly. We would like to thank our listeners and supporters, particularly GM Foe and Tavis TJ?
Travis Jeff.
Tavis JF. Anyone else, Coda?
And then just Dan Goyette and for the
Dan
contributions tonight, as well as everybody watching at home.
Thanks for joining us again.
Yeah.
Thanks for
All
coming
right.
back after our hiatus.
Yes.
We're back.
Thank you. Thank you. After the stream, we are going to raid to whom there, Coda?
We're gonna be throwing it over to Gut Punch RP.
All right, Gut Punch RP it is. Please join us next Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time to see what happens next and follow us to
To
adventure!
adventure!